Gary was indebted for Heredity. The left-hand ambidextrous ability he acquired from his father must have been a proclivity of accession, the recent loss of his right-hand appendage finding this inherited application beneficial. An uncertainty remained concerning the appositeness of his piano-playing profession, with no time-frame prognosis for his condition to improve. He would have to acquire an acute resolve to transcend the despondency that would surely come. A first step was instituted by securing a wrist and hand brace, to bereave the limp notification of his loss and the public display of his deficiency. His transition from a normal right-hand transaction to the left was awkward because of habit, but once inoculated would suffice. The only true difficulty was the expertise of signature. Researching the subject of neurology and his related lack of appendage mobility, discovering a premise to employ. During the hours of inactivity watching TV, he would place a rubber ball in the palm of his inoperative hand, attempting to communicate a reflex from his brain to the non-functioning extremity. The concern for his right-hand restoration played heavily on him. The provision of expectancy was allocated to the ticking of a temporal clock. Gary needed relief, a change of venue. A decision being made for a visit to California. His wife Kay utilizing some of her acquired vacation time making reservation for an oceanside bungalow in Long Beach. The family's retreat would entertain a visit to Disneyland and an opportunity to introduce Kermit, his wife's father, to his granddaughter Marlo. A further venture to visit relatives of his mother-in-law Helen's first marriage, to the Rices residing in scenic Morro Bay, Kay's maiden name being Rice. Never having met any of her namesake relatives, and from Morro Bay, they could continue on to Gary's parents' home in Oakland. The trip would be a leisurely sightseeing tour west, the family's 1967 Buick Wildcat, Kay's work car, destined as mode of transportation. An early morning start, the once reputable Route 66 having acquired a new name, Interstate 40, the nostalgic luster of a bygone era attaining the status of a remembrance. The familiar sights of Amarillo and Albuquerque passing in review, Gary extending the first day's travel to over 600 miles. A decision to halt the progress for the night's lodging in Grants, New Mexico at the Sands Roadside Motel. The morning finding the family progressing west across the high plains, through Gallup, and upward to the Ponderosa encroachment of Flagstaff. Addressing the downhill travel, the Wildcat venturing off Route 66 to greet a new host, the Grand Canyon, the Wilsons journeying to the South Rim's view, experiencing the wonderment of its vastness and privilege. The 18-mile-wide canyon prefix presenting a picture of engagement to the first-time beholders, the 6,000-foot depth, Mother Nature's presentation of catechism expanse, the family acknowledging its acclaimed presence. The stop at the Grand Canyon realized, an afternoon vestige back to Interstate 40 beginning, Gary recognizing a necessary to stay the night before entering the Mojave, Kingman promising another night's rest. Not lingering in the morning, but pushing onward, the Wildcat unleashed, the steady whoosh of the open four barrels, the GM product rushing through Needles forward to Barstow. The family having their sights on making Long Beach by afternoon. Long Beach having been secured, the Wilsons apprehending the bungalow's management on East Ocean Boulevard, the family introduced to a small bedroom reside with a kitchenette in an ocean beach view. Scott and 3-year-old Marlo eager for the journey to Disneyland, the one-handed Wildcat driver eager for an oceanside rest. A Disneyland morning about to begin, Gary having discovered when visiting with some locals, that 2 blocks from their location was a public transportation bus stop enabling a Disneyland destination. Suggesting that instead of mapping the drive, the family could ride the bus. The information he received was correct. The carriage destination was Disneyland, the vastness of the 165 acres making a big first impression. The family coming to realize that it would take days to participate in all the attractions. The entrance admission price was very reasonable, but the admission to the concessions requiring the purchase of a coupon book, a quick calculation of the cost. Deciding this would be a one-day excursion but allowing a concession visit to all of the 4 lands. The first on the agenda was the Pirates of the Caribbean, an unforgettable journey through the waterway cavern, followed by Adventureland, a trip through the jungle. Frontierland, a riverboat ride, fighting off Indian attacks, and Tomorrowland an adventure in space travel, with an unforgettable underwater trip in the Nautilus, the captain making an announcement. This is the captain speaking. Welcome aboard. We are now underway and proceeding on a course that will take us on a voyage of exploration through liquid space, en route we will pass below the polar ice cap, then probe depths seldom seen by man. Make yourself comfortable, but please remain seated at all times. And no smoking please. The smoking lamp is out. Exhausted, the exploring family satisfied with their journey because, if you wish upon a star makes no difference who you are. Your heart desires will come to you.